Monica Smith. I'm the club historian, and I'm also associate director of a center at the Smithsonian called the Lemelson Center for the Study of Invention and Innovation. And so I like to bring to the club stories of some hidden figures, not always in invention, sometimes in the local DC history, but in honor of the Black History Month we're celebrating here in the US, I wanted to share this wonderful story of Lewis Latimer, who should be much better known than he is. So I'm going to quote actually primarily from an article written by a colleague of mine, Lavinia George, but I did edit it some time ago. And anyway, I hope you'll enjoy it. So here you see Lewis Latimer, who was born in Massachusetts in 1848, 6 years after his parents had run away from slavery in Virginia. They were determined to be free, and their children would be born on free soil. Because of his light complexion, Latimer's father, George, was able to pose as a plantation owner with the darker skinned Rebecca as his slave. They escaped to Boston and unfortunately were recognized as fugitives and were jailed. Their arrest was protested vigorously by many, including Frederick Douglass. And so this gained quite a bit of attention, as you can imagine. And fortunately, an African-American minister was able to pay for the parents' release. So Lewis Latimer was born free, the youngest child, and he attended grammar school, which was unusual for Blacks in the US at the time. He was an excellent student who loved to read and draw. And when his father disappeared shortly after the Dred Scott decision, which was an infamous Supreme Court ruling, the family really struggled to survive. And so Lewis falsified his age and joined the US Navy in 1864 when he was only 16 years old, and he joined in the Civil War, one of many Blacks to fight in the war on the Union side. When the Civil War ended, he was honorably discharged and returned to Boston to seek employment. And he got a job as an office boy in a patent law firm, a company that specialized in helping inventors protect their patents. So Latimer, by closely observing the draftsmen at work and reading books on the subject, taught himself mechanical writing. And he learned the master of drawing art of drawing to scale, and being able to do hand and ink images like this one in the upper left for patent drawing. After several months of studying on his own, he was given an opportunity by the firm to show what he could do as a skilled draftsman. And he was promoted from office boy, where he was earning $3 a week, to draftsman at $20 a week. So yeah, in this period following this American Civil War, there were a lot of important scientific advances going on in the US. And while working at this firm, Latimer met Alexander Graham Bell. Some of you who are from our Scottish club will know he's from Scotland, went to Canada, and then was an inventor best known in the US for inventing the telephone. At the time, Bell was in a race to have his invention patented before anyone else registered a similar device. This is actually an important part of invention. There's often a lot of people working on similar ideas. By working with him late at night, Latimer was able to provide Bell with the blueprints and expertise in submitting applications that allowed him to file his telephone patent on February 14, 1876, 146 years ago this week, just a few hours earlier than a rival inventor. In 1880, Latimer began work as a mechanical draftsman for Hiram Maxim, an inventor and founder of the US Electric Lighting Company. In this new job, Latimer was given the opportunity to become familiar with the field of electric incandescent lighting, bearing in mind that the Edison's invention was just in the previous decade. In 1884, he was invited to work for Maxim's rival, Edison, in New York. And as an expert electrical engineer, Latimer's work for Edison was critical for the following reasons. His thorough knowledge of electric lighting and power guided Edison through the process of filing patent forms properly at the US Patent Office to protect the company from infringements on his inventions. Latimer was also in charge of the company library, collecting information from around the world and translating data in French and German to protect the company from European challenges. He became Edison's patent investigator and expert witness in cases against persons trying to benefit from Edison's inventions. Edison actually encouraged Latimer to write the book, Incandescent Electric Lighting, this book you see in the lower right, a practical description of the Edison system. Published in 1890, it was extremely popular as it explained how incandescent lamp produces light in an easy to understand manner. On February 11th, 1918, 104 years ago this week, Latimer became one of the 28 charter members of the Edison Pioneers, You see them on the lower left here. He was the only African American in this prestigious and highly selective group. As I say in the caption there, you can see Latimer is second from left, and then Edison is there in the bowler hat and cane. After leaving Edison's employment, Latimer worked for a patent consultation firm until 1922, when his failing eyesight caused an end to his career. His health began to fail following the death of his beloved wife, Mary Wilson Latimer. To cheer and encourage him on, his children, 2 daughters, had a book of his poems printed in 1925 in honor of his 77th birthday. The poems are beautifully sensitive and complement Latimer's designation as a Renaissance man who painted, played the flute, wrote poetry and plays. Active in the Unitarian Church, Latimer found time to teach mechanical drawing, engineering, and English to new immigrants. He remained extremely proud of his participation in the Grand Army of the Republic as an officer in the same Civil War veterans organization. In addition, he supported the civil rights of his era. He died on December 11, 1928, leaving a remarkable legacy. His name should forever be associated with 2 of the most revolutionary inventions of the time, the incandescent electric light bulb and the telephone. So I hope you found that interesting. Thank you so much for the opportunity.